there are so many just sort of weird little tales that catch on and hold on and are reiterated throughout history that there has to be some kind of connection going on.
Well, of course, Jacques Vallée. Now, Jacques Vallée was he is a computer scientist and mathematician. He came over from France in the 1960s, and he became a colleague of Dr. J. Allen Hynek. And, of course, Hynek was attached to Project Blue Book back in the old days, and they've made this, recent television show where they've kind of reimagined reality and history, but that's another story. But they became colleagues, and Jacques Vallée approached the UFO problem from a very scientific standpoint initially. And his first two books, including Challenge to Science, Challenge to Science dealt with a wave of landings in France in about the early mid-50s. And what they were a series of, sort of egg-shaped silver craft. The entities that got out were usually kind of small, wearing kind of silver coveralls and so forth. Anyway, by the way, this is before the Greys kind of came in, much later. That's another thing we can talk about. But because back in those days, we used to have quite a variety of aliens or entities that people were reporting with these close encounters. Well, his third book was called Passport to Magonia. And it was like so many of these researchers, he kind of threw his hands up and said, look, he even writes in it, he says, this is not a scientific book. But he started to see that there were many interesting patterns between various traditions and folklore and some modern-day UFO experiences.